Are you constantly pushing your body and your mind to perform at a high level? Wouldn't it be nice if you could know exactly when to push on the gas and when you needed more recovery, when you needed to take a couple days off? Then stay tuned because I'm going to show you exactly how to use heart rate variability for just that. Hi everyone, Floyd Meyer here. Heart rate variability is an amazing tool. It can allow you to see the overall health and strength of your autonomic nervous system. Now, anytime you are going to be putting your body through stress, and this could be physical stress like exercise, or it could be more mental stress like things at home or job deadlines, things like that, you are going to be stressing your nervous system. And luckily, our bodies are extremely good at repairing that damage and dealing with it up until a point. Now, you can imagine that if you continued to stress your body day in and day out, you were training hard and you were not giving yourself adequate recovery, you weren't sleeping enough, you weren't giving yourself the right nutrition, things like that, that eventually this would lead to things like injuries. It would be putting you at increased risk of, mental problems, things like brain fog or problems concentrating, decrease in your motivation. And eventually, if this gets out of hand, it can lead to some pretty serious conditions like adrenal fatigue or even adrenal failure if it gets bad enough. Now, this is where heart rate variability comes in. Heart rate variability is going to give you the ability to assess your overall nervous system health. It's going to allow you to know what days is good to train hard and when you need more time to recover so that you don't eventually end up with that adrenal fatigue, the brain fog, all of those different things. But how exactly do you use heart rate variability? Now, this is really, really important, so I want you guys to pay attention. There are 3 things that you need to know in order for you to actually use heart rate variability accurately. First is you need to be measuring at the same time of the day. Now, our bodies are going to go through different 24-hour rhythms, and that is going to be called your circadian rhythms. And your heart rate variability is going to change depending upon the time of day. So you can't compare a measurement at 8 a.m. to a measurement at 6 p.m. You're going to have completely different readings, and that's normal because our bodies change throughout the day. So it's really important that you pick a time and you are consistent with it. I have found that it's really easy to do in the morning right before I actually get up and get out of bed. That's what I have found to be the easiest time for me to get an accurate reading. Now, the second thing is that you need to measure for the same length of time. So if you're doing your measurements, you can't compare a 1-minute measurement to a 24-hour measurement. They're going to give you different numbers. What I have found, and this is what I've read in the literature, is that 5 minutes has been shown to be an extremely accurate way of getting a good reading. So sitting down for 5 minutes and try and be consistent with that. That way you can actually compare your different readings. And third is that you need to be in the same position. So if you take a reading when you're standing up versus when you're laying down, you're going to get different numbers. And that makes sense because you're going to be putting different stresses on your nervous system. So you want to remove as many of these variables as possible. Now, in order to actually be able to use the heart rate variability, you need to have an accurate baseline. So what I recommend doing is that you get at least 3 consistent measurements 3 consecutive days. That way you can actually see how the different things that you're going to be doing then in the future are affecting your heart rate variability score. So once you have this baseline and you're doing it, you're testing it at the same time of the day, in the same position for the same length of time, then you can actually compare apples to apples and see what the things that you're doing, how they are affecting your overall nervous system. And these heart rate variability measurements are also going to allow you to see how different strategies, how different supplements, how things that like optimizing your recovery are going to affect your overall nervous system. Say for instance that you just make a small change and you start sleeping, instead of 6 hours a night, you start sleeping 8 hours a night. You are going to see a huge increase in your heart rate variability scores, and it's going to give you some objective data that you can actually go off of. Or imagine if you weren't getting enough protein in your diet and you were training really hard and your body was constantly in a state of catabolism, it was constantly eating itself, and then you added in a new protein powder, and so you're getting sufficient protein. You're going to see your heart rate variability scores increase significantly. So it can be a very awesome tool so that you can see how these different biohacks, these different lifestyle strategies, how much they are actually affecting your overall nervous system, because that's what's really important when it comes down to things like increasing your energy levels, increasing your mental awareness, your ability to focus, and your ability to train. That is all a factor of how well your nervous system is working, and heart rate variability is going to give you that objective data that you can go off of. If you are interested in using heart rate variability so that you can live better, live longer, and you can do more, then please reach out to me. I'm going to be taking a small number of clients and we're going to be going all over heart rate variability, how to use it, how to actually get this data, how to use this data, and I'll be reviewing all of the data with you. And on top of that, we'll be going through other lifestyle strategies so that you can get more done. So I hope this has been helpful. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And I really want to know, how do you guys use heart rate variability? Are you using it to monitor your physical stress, your mental stress, both, or are you doing something completely different with it? So let me know in the comments below. And make sure that you guys are subscribing and following so that you can get more awesome tips. So again, this is Floyd Meyer reminding you to live better so that you can do more.